Fallout New Vegas is widely considered the best Fallout game, period. And that's pretty cool. There's not a lot of times in gaming where an entire community comes together and says, this game is the best. As somebody who is kind of grown up in the Halo community, it's kind of split between Halo 2, Halo 3, Reach, maybe even that one person who thinks Halo 5 is the best, and if you are just categorically wrong. But New Vegas stands alone above all other Fallout games, and I really just kind of wanted to talk about why I think this is the best Fallout game, and why it is maybe a top 10 game ever. It's kind of crazy to think about that as such, but yeah, that's true. Fallout New Vegas is one of the best games of all time, and it was made by a separate studio than Bethesda. Of course, Todd Howard cannot win one of these. But let's go. The story of New Vegas is kind of where this entire great game comes from. It's definitely not the gameplay. It is built off of Fallout 3's engine, which by itself is pretty bad. The creation engine has never been the best gaming engine, but I digress. People care about the story. The story of New Vegas is what people want and is what people still talk about today. And it's because it gives maybe one of the best final questions for the player to think about before they actually move on to the final act. Who is best for the Wasteland? The Wasteland sucks. The Wasteland is supposed to suck. It is a Fallout game. It is, raiders and super mutants and just wildlife that wants to kill you. But it's home to so many other people. It's home to really good people. And it's home to really bad people. But it's still home to those guys. And you have to decide what is best for the people of New Vegas. Would you choose the Mr. House ending, basically setting yourself up for the future but forgetting about everybody else? How about the NCR, where everybody becomes a part of the economy? Or Caesar's Legion, where everybody becomes a slave? Or maybe you tough it out on your own and leave everything how it is? It's a good question to ask, and is still widely debated today. I have always gone the NCR route. I don't know why, but I don't know, it's something about the two-headed bear. It's something about an organized military. It's something about going to the Mojave makes you wish for a nuclear winter type behavior from them. It's something I love, and they're the faction I'm gonna go with. I will never choose Caesar's Legion in my life, but the cool thing is that I know people who did, because they didn't like anybody else. They didn't love House having so much power. They didn't love the NCR basically coming in and forcing their will, even though the Legion does exactly that. But, it's holes like that in logic that all four of these endings have that truly makes it a good game. And it's the perfect little narrative for this pretty small game. The map of New Vegas is not large. It's surprisingly very barren. There's not a lot to do, but what you can do is what matters, and this game truly excels in its ability to storytell. And that's found in its characters. A good story cannot be built without good characters. There's a reason Fallout 4 is clowned on, because you have people like Desdemona that just drags down an entire faction, or Arthur Maxon that is so tunnel visioned on one thing, he has no nuance to himself at all. But the characters in New Vegas are a little different. Sure, you can't really convince Caesar to change his ways, but you can do other things. You can convince the NCR that the Brotherhood is maybe worth saving. And that little bit extra, those little character moments, great characters like Veronica, Arcade, Caesar, Mr. House, there's too many notable things here. There's too many notable guys that impact this entire wasteland. Yeah, a lot of them are shady. A lot of them are in their own self-interest, but in the world of Fallout, that is how you have to survive. And nobody understands that like Obsidian. The studio literally made out of the ashes of Interplay. So it makes complete sense that they would actually get it right, because so many people really don't. Character is what these games are built upon. It is why the setting, it is still the 1950s. And having those characters set the tone, and having the premise set the tone as well, is why this story is so constructed so well. Because everybody remembers a bullet to the head. I feel like there is so much more I could say. The rush development, the DLCs, the story of Ulysses. But it's so just not needed. The base game alone is incredible. The DLCs are mainly just the icing on the cake, because you can just have a character like Joshua Graham casually be in your game. That's something not a lot of games afford, and if it was a Bethesda title, you would have seen Joshua Graham appear 10 times by now in other games. But because he is so small in the grand scheme, it doesn't really matter. That's why these games are cool. Because giant characters like the Think Tank, they can just show up and go away as soon as possible. I love all of the DLCs, and that's really all I have to talk about. What is your favorite New Vegas memory? Why do you think New Vegas is maybe the best game of all time? If not one of the best, I don't know, RPGs. It's definitely the best under Bethesda game, even though I wouldn't really count it as a Bethesda game, but please let me know. I have loved New Vegas ever since I got it back in the day, and I really just love everything about it, because at least one time a year, I can go back and say hello to my old friend Benny before I sleep with him in bed and murder him in his sleep and take the platinum chip and give it to Mr. House and get all of the caps. I do that every single run. There is no point of not doing that. But until next time, my name is Ben Spencer. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, maybe consider checking out some of my other stuff. I've got plenty of other Fallout content. Until then, I will see you next time. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.